Tonight on Monday Night Matchup, will Dan Marino and Miami's Marino Corps be able to find any open spaces in the Chicago Bears defense? Will Walter Payton gain 100 yards for a record 8th straight week and lead the Bears to their 13th consecutive victory? Let's talk football tonight on Monday Night Matchup.
Monday Night Matchup is brought to you by Mazda, maker of the new generation RX-7, the 626, 323, and B2000 trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Monday Night Matchup. I'm Chris Berman, along with, as always, Allie, Sherman, and Steve Sabol. Week 13. Seems like I just got here, guys. The Chicago Bears at the Miami Dolphins tonight. And, Coach, something's got to give in this one. Once again, the Dolphins allowing fewer sacks than anybody else in the NFL, but the Bears' defense speaks for itself.
Only Hollywood usually sets a war scenario like this. You've got the team that has the best hurry-up pressure against the passer in the Bears versus the passer with the best quick release, Dan Marino. Who wins it, and how do they go about it? Well, the Bears try to pressure offenses not only physically, but more so mentally, and cause confusion. The Miami Dolphins tonight have to go out there and say, hey, we've got an orchestrated offensive pattern of run and pass. And look out, here we come. You guess as to what we're going to do.
Allie, I think the Dolphins' chances for victory tonight rest on a wing and a prayer. The wing, of course, is Dan Marino's arm, but the prayer is for a solid defense. This season, the Killer Bees report card is filled with Fs. They failed to put pressure on the passer, and they've finished second to last in the AFC in total yards allowed on defense.
Yeah, but, Steve, the Dolphins is always in the playoff picture. The Bears have already qualified. We all know that. We'll take a look at the Bears and Dolphins 85 report cards when Monday Night Matchup continues. Only one team in NFL history has gone through the regular season and the playoffs undefeated. That, of course, the 1972 Miami Dolphins, who went 17-0. Now in come the 12-0 Chicago Bears, trying to gnaw away at part of Don Shula's legacy. Yeah, the Dolphins would like to defend that legacy, but they also need a win to move into first place. It'll be tough, though, because their weapons are few, while the Bears have many. In 1985, Dan Marino is not compiling the same staggering numbers he did a year ago as league MVP. But you could argue that he's having a better season this time because he's practically carrying the Dolphins on his shoulders. The Miami defense, hardly impregnable in last year's Super Bowl season, has become nearly invisible this year, putting pressure on Marino to score more points. And to make matters worse, the struggling Miami running game has been AWOL for most of the Dolphins games.
And what's important, Chris, is not that they don't make first downs, but those linebackers can take the liberty of dropping deep into the secondary. And here you see the result.
Allie, there's no question Marino has been a one-man band this year in Miami. On the other hand, the Bears are a 45-player contingent of monsters, mavericks, and maniacs. This thundering herd of unlimited talent has run roughshod through the NFL with a perfect 12-0 record.
Chris, the Bears' defense is the best in the NFL because they pressure an offense in two ways. With their talent, they apply a physical pressure, and with their unorthodox formations and blitzes, they exert a mental pressure.
Well, Steve, right now, the Bears are having everything go their way. They win with either Fuller or McMahon at quarterback, hurling wounded duck passes that somehow end up as touchdowns. The offense pushes people around whether Walter Payton is playing or not. Even when they smack into their own blockers, it still turns into gold. Right now, the Chicago Bears, all 45 of them, can do no wrong.
When you look at Marino passing and the Bears' defense, there's only one constant, and that's the Bears' defense. Marino is inconsistent, not in completions as much as using that short pass. He has yet to demonstrate the patience to stay with the short pass until he gets that defense going against him in an unsettled condition. Now, tonight, the Bears will show a certain percentage of blitz against Marino, trying to get that rhythm of his off. What he's got to do is establish his own rhythm, and he's got to stay with that short pass long enough so that the Bears just don't get hold of his offense and dictate to him.
Well, Allie, with McMahon hurt, Steve Fuller has been the Bears quarterback, and he runs a passing game that avoids mistakes. He doesn't throw for many yards or touchdowns, but he doesn't throw interceptions and he doesn't get sacked. With Fuller, it's a case of no errors, but no hits or runs either. And I think if the Dolphins can get ahead tonight and force Fuller to throw more often and take some risks and play beyond his limitations, Miami could come up with some turnovers and win.
Yeah, but they're also going to have to move the ball, Steve, against the Bears defense. We'll take a look at that new-look monsters of the Midway right after this. For decades now, the Chicago Bears have had the reputation of owning a hard-hitting defense. Allie, you certainly know that. Now, in the Buddy Ryan era, yes, they still hit hard, but they're also hard to figure out.
Well, Chris, you know, when you're examining the Bear defensive philosophy, we must bear in mind, excuse the pun, two things. One, the unorthodox alignment of defensive people. And two, playing their defensive people in positions other than the ones that they're listed in the program. Let's take a look at the major defense, the unorthodox defense that the Bears use, and they call it their 46. Here, the unorthodoxy of the Bears' 46 defense is the positioning of Wilbur Marshall, number 58. Listed in the program as the right outside linebacker. He's now lined up next to the left outside linebacker, Otis Wilson, number 55. Also positioned differently is safety Dave Dewerson, number 22, right on the line of scrimmage. Dallas blockers pick up Wilson, Marshall, and Dewerson, but there's a mismatch as a running back. Timmy Newsome has to pick up a defensive lineman, that 300-pound refrigerator, William Perry. Timmy never had that in his contract, and boy, is that unorthodox. Perry will defeat Newsome, forcing quarterback Danny White to leave the pass pocket and run right into the eager arms of linebacker Otis Wilson, who had shaken off his blocker. You've just seen the result of the Bears' defense, creating mismatches that come from the ever-constant mental stress on that offense, as much as from that physical stress. Again, you see outside linebackers Wilson, number 55, and Marshall, number 58, lined up shoulder to shoulder, but this time on the right side of the defense. Both will blitz when that ball is snapped. Both Wilson and Marshall are picked up, one by the tight end and the other by a back. This is standard procedure. Mental strain causes blocking confusion on the right side of the offensive line, leaving Mike Singletary with a blitzing linebacker's dream. Completely untouched, he's on his way to the quarterback. The ever-changing and the ever-dictating Bear defense now creates further pressure on an offense by having defensive end Richard Dent, number 95, positioned as a linebacker in an upright stance. With Wilbur Marshall positioned as a standard inside linebacker, the Cowboys' offense is now confronted by a basic orthodox defensive look. But the mental pressure created by the ever-shifting Bear defenders in the defensive alignments now causes the Cowboys to commit mental errors against but a standard defense. Here, two Dallas offensive linemen block one pass rusher, leaving blitzing linebacker Otis Wilson with another linebacker's dream, a clear expressway to the quarterback as he hurries Gary Hogeboom into throwing an interception. The Bears' defensive battalion has accomplished its mission with a big 6-point payoff. However, tonight, that Miami offensive platoon must not only be at its physical best, but more importantly, it's got to be at its mental best to allow Dan Marino to match up against that Bears scrambled defense. Let's take a look at the toughest Bear defense for pressure, and that's their 46 defense. All 8 people up front, all of them may come, some may come, but they really put pressure on that offense. Marino's got to come out tonight, and that's why he has to have that short pass game, because notice, when all 8 folks are in here, you've got single coverage on speedy wide receivers out there. Marino comes out with that short passing game, because even though they may not pick everybody up, let's say that linebacker blitzes, and he's in here, and here comes this linebacker. Marino's got that quick release where, bang, he can hit quickly right up in here, 2 yards, 4 yards, and that's tough pressure on the defender. Now, if the Bears persist in this, and they still want to go get him, Marino, once he gets these people aware of the short pass, he now goes to Duper and Clayton, the fast receivers on deep passes, because this team here, Miami, is the best pickup team on offense as far as blitz goes, and they have only had the least number of sacks against them. Let's take a look at Marino right now in action with that quick wrist. Wham. Last week against the Bills, the Dolphins and Marino were confronted by pressure from blitzing linebacker Eugene Marv, number 54. Marv has a clear path to Marino because Miami guard Steve Clark, number 76, has committed a mental error in blocking on the wrong man. Here comes Marv, and there goes Marino with a ticket to touchdown land. At times, Marino's quick release allows him to get the ball out there to his receiver, even with blocking breakdown. In addition, the Miami offense is one of the best at blitz pickup. Against the Steelers, they demonstrate this as 4 blitzmen provide an all-out attack on Marino. The Dolphins will get the same look and pressure from the Bears tonight. And Marino and teammates must match up against it, just as they do here. The Steelers try to confuse Miami's blocking with slanting maneuvers by linemen and linebackers trying to occupy 3 blockers, while blitzing linebacker Robin Cole, number 56, crosses behind, looking for a clear road to Dan Marino. Miami's blockers handled all the rushes, and Marino throws in comfort. Dan Marino's blockers must operate like this tonight to provide a matchup for the Bears, who dictate with their rhythm defense.
You know, Allie, Marino doesn't seem to be nearly as bothered by pressure coming from the outside as he does by inside pressure. He's got such great concentration downfield that he doesn't see the outside people coming, but he can be distracted by heavy pressure up the middle, as the 49ers proved in the Super Bowl and as the Jets proved earlier this season. So I think a crucial matchup tonight will be the Dolphins center Dwight Stevenson versus whomever is opposite him in the Bears line, and that could be Perry, McMichael, or Hampton.
And he will have a very tough night tonight. Well, that's a tough matchup for a Miami Dolphin. Let's talk about a tough matchup for some Bears. The 2 cornerbacks of the Bears, Frazier and Richardson, they've got a big night coming at them in the passing war because there are 2 great receivers that the Miami Dolphins have in Duper and Clayton. Frazier and Richardson are in man-to-man coverage most of the time because linebackers are blitzing and leaving them alone. If Marino is successful in getting to Duper and Clayton, you may find that the Bears will blitz a lot less tonight so that they can use their linebackers to drop back and help those 2 cornerbacks, Frazier and Richardson, and get a matchup against that, Chris.
On the other side of the ball, though, Allie, the Bears have something which nobody has ever owned before, sweetness. We'll take a look at number 34. Walter Payton is the NFL's all-time leading rusher, and tonight he goes for his 8th straight 100-yard game, which would be a league record. Steve, his reputation precedes him.
Chris, he's built that reputation on pages torn from the Bible of Smith Barney, chapter 1, verse 1, from the prophet John Houseman. He's earned it. In his 11th season, Walter Payton, number 34, is running with the same instincts and power of a half a dozen years ago when he was all that the Bears had. His 5.2-yard rushing average is his highest since 1977, and he still blocks like no other running back. Here, he stops a Viking blitz and allows Jim McMahon to complete a touchdown to Willie Gault. Payton does everything so well, he doesn't really have a trademark. Most of the runners we've looked at in recent weeks were exceptional at avoiding tacklers, but that's where Payton differs. He enjoys contact and dishes out more punishment than he receives. Each time he carries the ball, Payton stretches himself to the limits. His primary weapon is explosive power, and when he's singled up with one defender, he can lower his head and leave that defender gasping for air. Quickness is another part of the Payton package. Watch him dance around another would-be tackler and leave him grabbing for air. Payton may not do some things as well as other running backs have done them, but he does everything better than anyone else ever has. The only way to contain Walter Payton is to put as many defenders around him as possible. In other words, surround him and hope that at least one or more of your tacklers gets a good shot at him. Against a back like Peyton, this is easier said than done. But even though the Miami Dolphins defense is ranked 24th against the rush, they have shown the ability to contain the run with this type of tactic. Remember, the key is to surround the ball carrier, cut off the outside, stop his cutback ability, then gang tackle him. Another way to attack a runner such as Walter Payton is with an aggressive secondary. Attack with your safeties and confront Payton before he can turn upfield. The key to this approach is that your force man must be an outstanding tackler. And if the Dolphins use their safeties in a similar manner tonight, they'll need to be more effective tacklers than they have shown thus far this season. In 1985, Miami's defense has veered from bad to worse to better to horrible, and then back to good. Tonight, they'd better be great, because in Walter Payton, they'll be up against the greatest all-around running back in the history of the National Football League. It's a matchup that definitely favors the Chicago Bears. A recent Sports Illustrated poll of 200 NFL players listed Walter Payton as one of the league's nicest competitors. And this is the same poll, Allie, that listed Bears safety Gary Fensick as one of the nastiest.
He's not only nasty, Steve, but he's also the glue, though, of that Bear defense. He keeps it all together. He has a complete understanding of the Bear defenses. And very important, he's got the premium, the greatest mentality that you want in a defensive ball player. This guy actually believes he's the reincarnation of an offensive ball player. And he resents being on defense. He thinks that ball belongs to him on every play. And as a result of that, you see Gary Fensick around that ball every time.
From Ivy Leaguers to refrigerators, William Perry, Steve, has to be the NFL's most well-rounded player.
Well, listen, Chris, because of William Perry, Joan Rivers can recycle her Elizabeth Taylor jokes. Did you hear about Perry's thighs?
No, Steve, I haven't heard that one yet.
They're going condo. Actually, Chris, Perry is the latest example of how football evolves but rarely changes. The oldest play is the fullback up the middle, and Perry is the fullest back there ever was.
Well, he finished dead last in the Marcus Allen look-alike contest here. How do you match up against him?
Here's what the Cowboys did. They blitzed a defensive back and a linebacker, and they literally torpedoed the refrigerator, dove at his ankles, and knocked his legs out. But I hope he gets some sacks tonight, Chris, at defensive tackle, because then we could give him a new nickname, the plump lump of dump.
Nobody has been able to solve the Bears' riddle thus far this year, and tonight Don Shula gets his shot. I think win or lose, Allie, all eyes in the NFL will be upon Shula this evening to see how he attacks the Bears.
And I think he'd be the best going, Chris. And without violating his territory, because I have the highest respect and regard for him as a great coach, I'd like to be able to try to write the scenario. I believe this is the way Shue is going to come out. Number one, he's going to go up with a couple of long passes so that he lets them know Duper and Clayton still can run. However, the big heart of his offense is this. Going to throw short passes, the hitch pass, 2 yards up there, bang, into the receiver. 3 yards, break it out, bang, into the receiver. A quick screen to the back out here with a lineman in front of him to block, and that's what he's going to try to do to break out that formula that the Bears use. Blitz, maybe blitz, semi-blitz, full blitz. He's going to say, oh, no, you don't. And another thing, you can't sack me when I throw the ball that quick. Along with that, some running just to make those people dig in and not tee off on the pass rush. And those are my reasons, and I'm going to give you my reason, and you're surprised. I'm picking Miami, and the score is going to be 27-14.
Allie, I agree with you. And I think in order for the Dolphins to win, and I think they can, 3 things must happen. Nose tackle Mike Charles must dominate the line of scrimmage. Linebacker Hugh Green must be used as a blitzer to pressure the Bears' offense. And Marino, as you just pointed out, Allie, must attack Chicago with a mixture of draw plays and quick striking passes to Duper and Clayton. And now, what does the Bhagwan nerd? I'm sorry, the Swami. What does the Swami say?
That's genuflect when you refer to me, Steve. You're going to leave me alone with the 12-0 Bears? I'll take it, guys. This is the year all the skeletons come out of the closet for Chicago. They're 0-8 lifetime on the road in Monday night games. They win here, 30-14. Thanks for watching Monday Night Matchup. For Allie, Sherman, and Steve Sabol, I'm Chris Berman. See you next week.